Have you ever thought about what would happen if Midoriya chose the path of evil instead of good? My Hero Academia has always been the story of how Izuku Midoriya became the #1 hero. Throughout the series, we saw him get bullied, ignored, and pushed aside countless times. Yet every time, he still chose to be a hero and never walked the dark path. But what if this was reversed? Would he be more terrifying than the League of Villains? And the most important question of all, would All Might be able to defeat him? And if the future successor of One for All himself turned evil, how would the power shift they create change the entire world? In this timeline, All Might still defeats All for One, and Deku's mother still falls into depression. But instead of gaining weight, she becomes strangely obsessed with quirks. Her child always wanted to be like All Might, and now that dream has been shattered because it was born quirkless. That obsession, combined with the constant bullying her child faces, slowly pushes her to desperation. Eventually, it leads her to cross paths with All for One himself. He gives Midoriya a quirk, but because Shigaraki was already by his side, All for One never sees Deku as a vessel. He's just another experiment. Days pass, but Deku never activates his quirk. He starts believing that the man scammed him and his mother, and that thought only makes him more angry, especially since the bullying from Bakugo and the others never stops. When Deku tells him that he has a quirk now, no one believes him, and the bullying only increases. Over time, his obsession with All Might and becoming a hero starts to fade, until one day, a pro hero saves him from a random villain on the street, and his hope returns for a short time. As time goes on, Deku begins training his body every day, trying to awaken his quirk, but nothing happened. No matter how much effort he puts in, there's still no result. By middle school, Bakugo is still mocking him for being quirkless, and in this timeline, Deku isn't kind anymore. There's no friendship between them, only resentment. When the sludge villain attacks Bakugo, Deku doesn't move, he doesn't step in, and he doesn't panic. He just stands there watching everything. All Might arrives moments later, and he defeats the villain in one hit. But this time, Bakugo is hurt far more than before. So much so that his injuries delayed his entry into UA. While everyone else is shaken by this incident, Deku feels something different. For the first time, someone who hurt him faced consequences. This feeling of retribution was unlike anything he'd ever felt. It was the happiest he'd ever been. However, Deku later appears for the UA entrance exam, but without a quirk, he never passes it, and whatever hope he had left is crushed again. At this point, Midoriya isn't disappointed anymore. He's just angry. At the same time, Todoroki clears the exam, but with no Midoriya around to push or challenge him, he never uses his fire at all. That choice only makes his relationship with Endeavor worse, as Todoroki isolates himself even further and sinks deeper into resentment. After this, Deku feels a brief sense of regret and visits Bakugo. Since their families were close after all, Bakugo immediately mocks him for failing the exam, and this time, Deku reaches his limit. He snaps. Bakugo's body twists and collapses as if space itself bends around him. In that moment, Deku's quirk finally reveals itself. He can control gravity, using pressure and force to crush or tear anything in his way. Bakugo dies instantly. When Bakugo's parents rush into the room and see Deku standing there, panic takes over. Afraid of being caught, Deku kills them as well and runs before anyone else can arrive. This turns Deku into a criminal on the run, and every pro hero is now searching for him. And at around the same time, the sports festival begins. In this timeline, Shigaraki never attacks UA, since All Might was never there to teach. The festival goes on without interruption, and Todoroki wins it easily. But the victory only makes things worse at home. Endeavor is furious with Shoto for refusing to use his fire, and the relationship breaks down even further. Not long after, Todoroki meets Dabi in the city. Dabi was originally there to find Deku and bring him into the league, but instead, he speaks to Shoto. He tells him the truth about himself and about Endeavor. That conversation becomes the final blow. Shoto stops seeing UA as a place that can save him, and soon after, he runs away from the school. But he's not a villain just yet. After leaving UA, Shoto starts acting as a vigilante alongside a few others. During one of these nights, he runs into Shoji, who's violently attacking a group of humans. Shoto stops the fight and tries to talk to him instead of arresting him. That's when he learns the truth. Shoji's a heteromorph who's been abused and hunted for most of his life. He asks for help again and again, but no hero ever stepped in. Over time, that neglect turned into anger, and that anger turned into violence. Furthermore, in this timeline, Shoji never meets the little girl who once gave him hope and reminded him why he wanted to be a hero. Hearing his story makes Shoto understand how broken the system really is, especially toward people like him. This doesn't turn Shoto violent right away, but it is the point where he stops believing in hero society. A few days later, Deku is moving through the city wearing a cape when he suddenly finds himself surrounded by Twice, Magnet and Muscular. They were sent to take him in, and in that failed to take his quirk back to All For for One. By this point, Midoriya has already been killing pro heroes while staying on the run, and it shows the moment the fight starts. When all three attack him at once, he goes for Muscular first, knowing he is the main threat. Using gravity, Deku tears Muscular's body apart while forcing Magna and Twice into the ground with pressure they can't escape. Muscular dies within minutes, the same way Bakugo did. Twice is the only one who manages to get away. After this encounter, All For One's interest shifts. For the first time, Midoriya matters more to him than Shigaraki. Deku takes this as a warning and goes into hiding until things calm down. Around the same time, All Might is already weakened and has no successor left. Lemillion was the only option, but his quirk was erased by Overhaul's bullet. He doesn't know what would happen if One For All is given to someone who already lost their quirk. Not long after, Dabi and Shigaraki attack UA. They believe Deku might be hiding there since it's the last place anyone would expect him to be. During the attack, Nejire is killed right in front of Lemillion by Decay. They leave Lemillion alive, saying he's not even worth killing. When All Might arrives too late again, Lemillion finally breaks. He lashes out at All Might for being careless and leaving everyone exposed. And after that, he walks away from UA for good. He starts searching for a way to get his quirk back, and that search eventually leads him to Eddie. He approaches her carefully and tries to talk to her, but Overhaul captures him again. Overhaul tortures Lemillion, trying to find out how much UA knows about him. What he doesn't realize is that Deku is already there, watching from the shadows. When Deku sees what Overhaul is doing to Eddie, he steps in and kills him on the spot with his gravity, showing no mercy and no hesitation. Lemillion survives because of Deku, but instead of gratitude, he explodes at him. He blames Deku for Nejire's death and everything that followed, but Deku doesn't accept this. He doesn't argue or explain, he just twists the space around Lemillion and kills him where he stands, bringing his story to an end. Before we move on, if you're enjoying this What If so far, hit the subscribe button and drop a like so we can keep making more content like this. While leaving the area, Deku runs into Dabi, who offers him a place in the League of Villains. Deku refuses, saying he wants nothing to do with them. After hearing this, Dabi doesn't argue or push further. Instead, All For One steps in himself. This time, Deku has no opening and no way out. But before All For One can take him, Todoroki and Shoji appear and step in. They buy Deku just enough time to escape. Acting on instinct, Deku opens a strange worm-like portal using his quirk. All three of them rush into it, and the portal closes behind them. When they come out of the other side, they find themselves back inside UA. Just as this was happening, the League of Villains also begins their attack. Their goal is clear. They want to mark the end of All Might's golden age of heroism. UA is attacked by Toga, Spinner, and Mustard. During the chaos, Mustard and Spinner locate Deku and go after him immediately. Mustard keeps mocking him continuously, so he can't focus or use his gravity properly. Todoroki and Shoji step in before Deku is overwhelmed. Together, they can take down Spinner and Mustard. Toku is left injured but still alive, and before Deku can finish her, Shigaraki appears and attacks him directly. Deku barely survives the encounter, escaping with only a moment to spare. At this point, Deku isn't fighting for heroes or villains, he's only trying to survive. Shigaraki is fighting because All For One is the only thing he has left, and Deku is threatening to take that away from him. The situation is simple. A single hit from either side would be enough to end it. All Might arrives at UA at the same time and immediately goes after Shigaraki. His attack is just fast enough that Shigaraki can take the hit, but he can't react in time to gain him back. While All Might focuses on Shigaraki, Deku tries using his gravity attacks on All Might, but Danger Sense keeps saving him. Deku bends the space around his target rather than striking directly, but none of his attacks can land a clean hit. This frustrates both of them, and Deku makes his move. He opens a wormhole and pulls Shigaraki through it, placing him right behind All Might. For a split second, it almost works. All Might survives by milliseconds, saved only because Aizawa activates his Eraser Quirk and cancels Shigaraki's decay in time. Watching this play out, All Might finally understands what he's facing. It's not just Deku's power that scares him, it's his battle sense and how quickly he can read and control the fight. With Aizawa and Endeavor arriving at the scene, All Might pulls back and heads toward All For One, who is already terrorizing the city elsewhere. Aizawa takes Deku head-on, while Endeavor moves to engage Shigaraki. Before that fight can fully begin, Dabi appears and attacks Endeavor, turning the situation into a 2-on-2. Aizawa is forced to handle Deku while keeping an eye on the others, and in the middle of the chaos, Mirio suddenly shows up and lands a clean punch on Shigaraki. His quirk is back, restored with Eri's help, and his return shifts the fight instantly. At this point, Deku is confused about how he ended up here. He never wanted this. All he ever wanted was to be a hero. That realization pushes him over the edge. He lashes out and rushes forward in an effort to put an end to everyone in front of him all at once. His attempt, however, fails as Aizawa manages to stop him just in time and puts him down before things can go any further. Elsewhere, All Might's fight with All For One plays out mostly the same. All Might actually manages to defeat him slightly earlier than before, keeping his identity intact. Back at UA, Shigaraki escapes, but Midoriya is taken into custody. When All Might interrogates Deku, he remembers him as the kid who smiled through the sludge villain's incident. He realizes that Deku had been holding something back even then, but before the interrogation can go further, Deku suddenly opens multiple wormholes inside the school, and Dabi and the others appear right in front of him. That's when the truth comes out. Deku had already joined the league after spending time with Shigaraki. The situation breaks down and the battle begins. The heroes take control of the school quickly. Most of the pro heroes are already injured or dead, and there's no one left to properly defend UA. All Might is exhausted by this point, barely standing, but he still tries to talk Deku down. It doesn't work. Deku's already too far gone. He bends the space around All Might and kills him within seconds, ending his reign right then and there. Woof. Well, we made it this far at least. I'll be the first to admit this got pretty heavy for a second. Since this what if was about these characters turning into villains, I didn't really add a new successor for All Might at this timeline. But of course, I want to know what you think. Let me know if you want a part 2 or want to explore other scenarios. By the way, I'm very happy about the reception the last video got, so be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to watch more videos like this. Alright, I gotta go now guys. Bye bye!